got the Daredevil and the weird Mary Poppins here, and all the rest of you, please welcome again the Lucille and Pearl, who will introduce the next comedian for you.
Thank you, Helly. Mrs. Puke Buckets. I'm going to call you from now on.
I guess you better watch out. Some girls are only about Anja, 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 Let's keep it going for Lucille and Pearl. You're amazing. How are you guys? Are you enjoying Funny Women Brussels? Me too. And I came here tonight to tell you a few important things. I recently got the best D of my life. It was my divorce. Thank you. It sucks that it had to happen, but it had to happen. At some point, my ex told me, I don't think I believe in gravity. Yeah, it made me realize that I had been asking all the wrong questions on our early dates. Like, what kind of bands do you like? You know, you should be like, what kind of laws of Newton do you fuck with? That's more important. But anyway, I'm glad that it happened while I could still qualify as a MILF.
Yeah!
Some people don't think that MILF is a very feminist term, but I disagree because I think unlike certain titles, MILF is something that actually has to be earned. Of course, I'm talking about things like policy officer. When people find out that I have kids, sometimes they ask me like, oh, were you a child bride? And yeah, as a matter of fact, I was. I never knew my own worth because the money exchanged hands too quickly before I could count it. I still remember the smell of the donkey that took me away from the bridal market. Oh wait, just kidding, I'm still thinking about my ex. Sucker. Who believes in gravity now, bitch? Thank you. So then I was single and I went on a guy with, okay, we're like jumping ahead here. I went on a date with a guy who was really leaning into being rich. Like that was like the primary feature of his personality. And he was like, I'm really into scuba diving and I'm really into going to Formula One races to unwind. And I was like, that's really obnoxious. And he's like, can I buy you dinner? And I thought about it, and it's like, I'm really not shallow or materialistic, but he was also hot, so I said yes. And we went to a restaurant where there was a crab starter for 60 euro. And I love crabs, but only on my plate. And during dinner, he kept talking about himself and how he loves to scuba dive and, you know, do all these obnoxious rich people things. And finally he asked me, so what do you like to do? And I'm like, well, I'm a writer. And he was like, and that's it. And I was like, I'm a fucking tortured intellectual who makes no money from her hobby. You have to do better than that. But also, I'm a Leo, you know? It's like, how dare you not make me feel special? So, obviously when he asked for a second date, I said no. And some guys take that as a challenge. So he was like, how about drinks? And I was like, all right, let's see, whatever you got. And he's like, here's a menu for like a restaurant in Brussels, like rooftop terrace, whatever. And I looked at it and I was like, 30 euro for whiskey sours, nice. Like poolside views, never even heard of this place. But then I was like, wait, but I live in Brussels and it's like, I can't be seen walking down the street with this person, so no. And he was like, okay, well, who's your favorite designer? And I'm like, oh, that's really easy. Like, my favorite designer is like world famous. It's like a duo that always collaborate. It's CNA. And he was like, that's nice. Well, you're gonna love Paco Rabanne. And then he sent me a link to like a 4,000 euro dress that was leopard print. And I was like, I had two thoughts. I was like, first of all, I hope he doesn't do the Belgian thing where we are expected to go halves. And second of all, leopard print. And I know that that divides the room. No offense to my lovely ladies over there. Personally, I don't think it's animal cruelty. I think it's animal mockery, okay? It's like the same if animals wore shirts with like human features on them. Like if a giraffe put on Sophia Loren. You know, if a meerkat was dressed like Wesley Snipes. Or if a hyena wore Elon Musk. And I think you should only really wear leopard print if this animal was threatening you and you killed it with your bare hands and now you're wearing its fur as a trophy. So I guess if I saw a hyena wearing Elon Musk, I would be impressed. And so then he goes, after I tell him that's a major turnoff and no, then he goes, okay, well, have you ever been to Mauritius? Because I'm planning a trip. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting because I've been offered cocktails. I even once received a leopard print thong. We're not going to go into that. And no one has ever offered me a trip to the other side of the world with endless beaches, rum cocktails, and so on. So I was really thinking about it, you know? And I was like, okay, it seems like he really wants to see me again. So, you know, he's going to pay for the flights. He's going to get a hotel room. Maybe I can be a princess and get my own. But at some point, you know, I'm gonna have my period for 3 days, have a headache for 2, but then I'm gonna feel a bit obligated. And we're gonna be sitting on the beach, like our toes in the sand, watching the endless sunset, drinking rum, and I might have to give him a sandy handy. And this is to a guy I don't even wanna have a drink with in Brussels. So then I was like really firm, I was like, really, thanks but no thanks. And then he said, I think you're a gold digger who used me for that dinner. I was like, excuse you? And just to remind you guys, there was a man who warned about gold diggers early on in his career. And 2 weeks ago, he released a new song called Heil Hitler. So watch out for people like that. So I gathered from Mona's set that no one is actually on dating apps here, or no one wants to say. No, it hasn't changed. Okay. I love how in 2025 we all decided they're garbage, and I sort of agree. Because even though it's the same people you see in daily life, like when you go on a dating app, you're basically saying, I want to fuck. Which is true, but it's like, do you have to be so obvious about it, you know? So the last time I was on apps, I went on a date with a guy, and I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be the last one, because I'm sick of guys lying about their height, I'm sick about guys lying about their age, I'm sick about them lying about how little money they have, you know, so no. But I went on a date, and it was okay. We were in a relationship for a while. It ended recently, so I'm single. Yeah, what's up, Brussels? But here's like a short version of what happened, okay? First he said I was a knockout, then he knocked me out, and then I found out I was knocked up. Yeah. But fortunately, an abortion costs less than a beer in Brussels. Gives a different spin on ladies' night, am I right? Yeah, I'm right. So I went to the Dilemma Center, that's what it's called if anyone needs to know. Not much of a dilemma here. But okay, got it taken care of. And you know, I've just been like vibing ever since. Everyone's like, don't worry, you'll meet a man. It's like, I'm really not worried. It's like, as soon as a woman starts enjoying her life, it always happens. They sneak up on you. I was walking down the street, and a man reached out his hand to me. And I was like, sorry, I don't have any money for you. And he was like, you're so tender. And I wondered how he knew that without touching me. It reminded me of another time when a man asked me for €1, and I was having like a great day. The sun was shining, I was feeling in a good mood, and I was like, you sir can have €2 today. And I gave him €2. And then he was like, do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, is this how you imagine it starting between us? There was another time, and this I have to admit was deranged a bit from both sides. I like had gotten back from a work trip. I was in a train, it was very crowded, and there was a man near me holding like an unopened can of Pepsi. And he looked at me and he was like, "Can you open this?" And without thinking, I did. And then he was like, "Can I have your number?" So, you know, men can clearly see that I have a lot to offer. It's gonna be fine. You know, I touched on some serious topics there, and I just want everyone to know here that sexual assault is not a joke, okay? But I'm gonna laugh about it anyway. So, I was once hanging out with like the brightest minds of America. They're like public health PhDs. And they informed me that there's like a toolkit to prevent from sexual assault from happening to you. And would you guys like to learn it? Because we don't live in a safe world, so I think everybody here should be informed, okay? I'm just gonna move the mic stand. So, the PhDs of America let me know that when you're about to get sexually assaulted, like you see the crazy look in their eyes, this is what you have to do. Put your hands up like this, and you say, "Stop, don't touch me there. That is my no-no square." So I'm gonna demonstrate again, just so we get, like, the hand motions are very important, okay? It's stop, don't touch me there. That is my no-no square, okay? Do you guys want to try it out just to be safe? So like when we're going home later tonight? Yeah. Just a second, I need to get something from off stage. So this is an industrialized size vat of baby oil, and I'm P. Diddy, okay? And you're all about to get freaked off, okay? So, put your beers down front row. You're gonna need your both hands, because otherwise, I'm really gonna be insistent. And I want you to give me everything you've got, because otherwise your feet are gonna get wet, okay? All right, like, I'm P. Diddy, I'm looking at all of you. I want a piece of this, okay? So, on the count of 3, right? 1! P. Diddy's got that crazy look in his eyes. 2, the baby oil's tipping over. 3, the first drop drops the floor. Go!
Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square!
Bravo! I'm so scared. I don't even want to freak off with any of you anymore. Good job. Stay safe. Okay. I mean, look, I'm not trying to shame anyone, but sometimes things go a little bit too far, okay? And if you're ever in a situation where things have escalated, just know you can always say no, okay? And in that case, what the PhD Public Health Students of America taught me, you need to say the following. R-A-P-E, get your penis out of me. So now I'm Jeffrey Epstein flying a plane. You guys want to try it? Or? Can I hear you say it? Okay, I'm Jeffrey Epstein. The plane is on autopilot, okay? We're going to Epstein Island. This is not your usual freak off, okay? People are getting massages. Let's go. 1, the plane's on autopilot. 2, Jeffrey Epstein's coming back. 3, he hasn't killed himself yet.
R-A-P-E, get your penis out of me!
Good job, guys. Keep it safe, keep it consensual. I've been Anja Sliva. Thank you for your time. Industrialized size vat of baby oil, and I'm P. Diddy, okay? And you're all about to get freaked off, okay? So, put your beers down front row. You're gonna need your both hands, because otherwise I'm really gonna be insistent. And I want you to give me everything you've got, because otherwise your feet are gonna get wet, okay? All right, like, I'm P. Diddy, I'm looking at all of you. I want a piece of this, okay? So on the count of 3, right? 1, P. Diddy's got that crazy look in his eyes. 2, the baby oil's tipping over. 3, the first drop drops the floor, go!
Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my number square!
Bravo! I'm so scared. I don't even want to freak off with any of you anymore.